Bob Folkenberg, you're over here in England again. You came last year and you talked to the presidents around the conference and the union. You're talking to ministers today. You were talking to Newbold students last night. What is it that's new, that's different? Aren't you telling the same story and just encouraging us to do the same thing?
Oh, no. It's maybe essentially yes. But we're presenting a new approach that we have worked hard the last few years to develop. What we have talked about before, and what I alluded to briefly a little bit last night, is the international campaign approach, where we take people from the economically developed regions of the world to the less developed regions where the church is growing faster, and we take the people, members, past students, and a wide variety of people from the developed areas to the less developed areas, so they have the experience of being part of the activity in that area and help the church grow there. But the real purpose we take them is not to grow the church there, but so they have the experience of standing up and being part of that, of the preaching and the reaping event. It changes their perspective completely. They know they can do it, that God will use them, and it gives them a new outlook on life when they come back home. So that's what we talked about before.
Yeah, I know you've done that before, and there are British pastors and lay people that have gone out to different countries and come back here.
Our total now has passed the 10,000 mark of people that we have taken to preach international campaigns.
In fairness, though, those that have come back to England, and I've seen them, we're in Stanborough Park Church today, and I've seen a layperson here run a campaign in this church following an international experience. The results are never going to be the same here. And actually, it's only a small percentage of those who go abroad to what you might call an easy country and then come back here that really have anything more than the success we're already having.
No, that may look that way. It's not a fact. Because I can document that the last week we finished in just Florida. We had previously trained 150 Pathfinder age young people in the state of Florida. My daughter did the training. They came from 22 churches. Just 10 days ago, those 22 churches finished reaping events preached by the Pathfinders. In one church in Winter Park, they baptized 8 people as a result of the campaign preached by the Pathfinders. And these were not only Pathfinder age, these were adults. So it's hard to assume that those would have been otherwise baptized. In other words, it makes the activity of those people trained, and they didn't go overseas, but they were trained to preach, and they went back and preached.
Let me be very candid with you, though. You've come here to the British Union. You've visited here many times before. Pastor Sweeney, as the president of the church in the British Isles, is very open in saying we've got a massive task to do. We're only reaching a small minority part of the population. Do you really think that a program like yours, taken seriously by the ministers, taken seriously by laity in the church, could actually make a difference to the kind of secularized society here in the British Isles?
Yes. 100% persuaded. Okay, no, I don't have any room for hesitation. I also have no hesitation that says most Seventh-day Adventists are Seventh-day Adventists in name only. They have no concept of what the gospel says they are called upon to do. And they're totally unaware of the biblical perspective that says, doing this is non-negotiable. Your salvation depends on it, not the people you're reaching. Your salvation, Paul says, if you believe that God raised Jesus from the dead, and if you confess your faith, you confess that, you will be saved. Neither one of those are optional. We have said, well, it's optional. I have to believe, but I don't have to confess. Yes, did God appoint you to be the judge as well? Your opinions are irrelevant. God says the two are required of you. Jesus said in Matthew 10, if you confess me, I'll confess you. Does that sound like it's optional? In other words, what we're saying is the heart of the gospel is God loved us enough to make our salvation more important than his comfort having his son at home. And so he says to us, if you understand the gospel, the real test is, are you willing to make your love for somebody else and their salvation more important than your own comfort? And it's a tough question, and most Adventists think that 3 hours on Sabbath morning as a spectator participating in a spectator sport, that is being a good Adventist. No, it's not. Spectatorship is never part of a biblical presentation as being an adequate involvement in the mission that God has given us. You see, so yes, there is no question in my mind that if we do what God asks us to do, God is responsible for the fruit, and we're seeing that which we're out of the picture. We plant a few concepts and provide some support, but we're out of the picture.
So that's quite a challenge.
Oh, that's huge.
Elder Bob Folkenberg, thank you very much for
Pleasure.
sharing with us.
Pleasure.